So the Lord just used my son to speak to me about something that's, pretty obvious, that might not be something that we are conscious of. And that is the power of our words and the power of our silence. Because sometimes if we are not sensitive and practicing patience and also like reflecting on what it is that we're thinking or we're feeling, we can act impulsively and speak before we should even say anything. Or we could start to speak things that maybe we shouldn't have ever spoken at all in the first place. The power behind our words and the power in our silence is so huge. I was thinking about my son and, the Lord kind of really speaking to me and ministering to me about the power of our words and silence. Is because my son had mentioned some things, and, whether they're true or there's lies mixed in them, because kids, they be telling lies and stuff. But when he speaks, I listen. Obviously, he's my son, but there's a deeper message behind this. It's like when he speaks, I believe him, or I'm very attuned, or I'm trying to understand more, especially when he's talking to me about serious subjects. But also, I was thinking, our kids have such a powerful voice, and that's why I believe the enemy is after our kids, because the kids are innocent for one, and they want to pervert their innocence. But also they have a voice, and they're the voice of this future generation. And so I just noticed that and realized that today, thinking back on the things that my son has mentioned, or when I have verbalized to others about the things my son has said, it's had impact. Like I said, whether they're true or they're false, or they're misunderstood, what he has said has had powerful impact. And so I believe the Lord showed me something about my son personally, but also through my son. And I'm thinking about all the times myself where I have mentioned things and I felt like a resistance at first of, maybe I shouldn't say this right now. Let me be silent for a little bit. But because of impatience, or even out of goodwill, like I might have wanted to mention something, or I might have wanted to speak on it a little bit, but not realizing that resistance, that little nudge that said, not right now, or don't say anything yet, or it says not the time. I'm realizing more and more that if I feel a little bit uncomfortable, or like a nudge to like kind of be silent and not say anything, that I need to just be silent and not say anything. I need to heed to that voice, because words are powerful. Words, information, when it is received, causes us to make certain decisions. And decisions can depend on life or death sometimes. Decisions can depend on how it's going to affect your future, benefit your future, or hinder you in your future. We make a lot of decisions in life, and sometimes these decisions are some of the most important decisions that we will ever make. And so we have to really wait and hear from God, and be silent, and not to speak a thing before it's time. Just because we know a whole bunch or know a lot of information doesn't mean we need to be speaking all the time about certain things. Even when you get overly excited and wanting to share information, I've also learned too that you can't do that either all the time. It's like people say, don't tell people your plans, don't tell people how much money you got or your relationship status. Like, I'm learning more and more like how true that is. And just looking back on my past relationships, I've realized that my voice is powerful, and my silence also is powerful. I've learned that I can do a lot of damage with my words, but I've also seen how I can be so powerful and say many things without even saying a single word. My silence speaks volumes. But but also the power of my words to build something up, to persuade, to influence in a powerful, in a godly way that edifies someone, that causes someone else to have a different perspective or an outlook that is positive. You know, being able to speak something that gets people thinking, you know, especially when you're bringing the word and you have the natural gift of compassion or wisdom or knowledge, being able to share that in a way. When you speak with kindness. Kindness is on your tongue. You speak in a way that's edifying. You speak in a way that people listen. That's part of what relationships do, and we learn from each other. And hopefully we can be humble enough to get a different perspective and not to be set on one perspective, thinking that what we know is what we know and that's how it is and that's all it should be. That's arrogant. But to be able to learn from each other and look at things in a different perspective, not necessarily a wrong one, but just a different perspective, and God will bring the correction. God will give us that wisdom and confirmation on what people are saying, if it's true, if it's of Him, or if it's not. Or, you know, we need to dig sometimes to, and above all, gaining understanding as much as we can, understand things. You know, not to just make decisions based on the information we know, but to really try to understand and look at it from every angle. So I would just encourage y'all to think before you speak, right? The Lord tells us to be slow to speak for a reason, and to just go to God, be prayerful, protect your kids, because the enemy is out to steal, kill, and destroy our kids. And whether these things are true or they're false that they say, whether they're unaware of the power of their voice or not, or they're ignorant, their voice needs to be protected. Their words need to be important enough for us to gain understanding. We need to be willing to listen to them and hear them out, and not to just shun them in their voice or shut them down or tell them to be quiet and act like our kids are a bother to us. You know, and we need to protect them, and we also need to protect them from this system, because this system in this world is wicked, and they will do anything, and the enemy will try and use anybody to try to snatch our kids away from us, and to get them out of order and out from under us, their safe place. The safest place our kids is to be with us, especially if you are a healthy parent and you are, you know, raising them up in the ways of the Lord, to keep your kids covered and protect them at all costs. I hope this is encouraging. That gives you guys something to think about, that you are motivated to be more slow to speak, to be wise with your words, and also teaching our kids how to be wise with their words, how to be honest, how to tell the truth, you know, helping them discern what to do with information that they receive. You know, protect our kids, be slow to speak, be wise with your words, understand that wisdom is going to guide our decisions, you know, but also if we're not hearing from the Lord and being patient and practicing silence, we might make a decision that God don't want us to make. So just a lot to think about. God bless you.